Hello and welcome to the YMCA of San Francisco Classrooms for All. My name is Reesha and today you're joining me for Nature is Everywhere. Today we're going to be making some applesauce. And to follow along, you'll need some apples, you'll need something that can go in the microwave, you'll need a cutting board, you'll need a knife, and you'll need permission from a grown-up in your home to use those materials, because we want to make sure that we're practicing this activity safely. Okay, let's get started. So you might notice I have some other things here on the table. I have some apples, I have some delicata squash, I have a banana, I have an avocado, and I have a lemon. When we're remembering that nature is everywhere, even inside our own home, it's great to practice noticing the details of what we see. So even though I have these apples here, I might actually decide to cut open something else and compare and contrast. For example, right now it's the season where we gather winter squash, as well as the season where we gather apples. It's starting to become the season where we gather avocados and we gather lemons. Oh, what a great opportunity to notice how some of these things share similarities and have differences. For example, I have these bananas here. They're yellow, there's some brown on them too, and I know that they come from trees. This lemon is yellow, it has a little bit of brown on the stem. It also comes from a tree. But what's different about these? Yes, they're both fruits. Yes, they're both yellow. Yes, they both come from trees. I can get a lemon nearby. Bananas come from far away. What a great way to practice our gratitude and thinking about all of the steps that bring our food to us. If you're somebody who's interested in helping to minimize the amount of waste in your food system, you might consider buying things that are more locally grown and more in season to eliminate the amount of waste that is produced from the growing stage to the stage where it gets home. So we're looking at things that have something in common. This avocado and this lemon, they're both round, they both have a seed inside, and they both grow close by. These can be grown locally and in season. This delicata squash has some yellow. I can see evidence of the stem. I notice that they both have some smooth texture and some elements of green if I'm looking very closely. There's green on the delicata squash and there's green on this lemon. But this lemon came from a tree and this delicata squash came from a vine. Amazing. Is there something that you've grown before? So now let's get into our applesauce making. When you're cutting up your apples, you might decide to cut them lengthwise from the side of the apple where the stem is located and where the blossom was located. Yes, a blossom is a flower. Did you know that? Did you know that every fruit was once a flower? This apple was created on a tree because the tree had the materials that it needed, the building blocks of creating this apple, and those came from pollinators. Pollinators can include bees, wasps, ants, hummingbirds, butterflies, moths, and even the wind. Amazing. On the end of the apple, sometimes you can see evidence of where the flower used to be. And when that flower was pollinated, the bud behind it became swollen and produced this fruit. So you might decide to cut this apple from stem to blossom. Remember that when you're using a knife, you want to hold your object very firmly. You want to be careful. You want to make sure you have a firm grip and it's solidly on the cutting board. Perfect. Wow. On the inside of this apple, we can see evidence of the seeds inside. Amazing. But if you decide to cut your apple crosswise from around the middle, you'll actually see evidence of the shape of the flower. You can see here that star shape. That star shape is the same shape that the flower was on the tree. Amazing. I sliced open the seeds too. So interesting. Some more plant parts that we're talking about. The seeds inside the apple. Wow, look at that. A tiny little seed. A tiny little seed can grow into a big tree. When I think about the seeds of the plant, I think about all of the growth potential, all of the amazing capacity for change. Is there something that you're learning or growing right now? What's your seed? How are you starting? What are the steps along the way? These are great reminders when we remember that nature is everywhere, that we can be part of nature. Amazing. We see the stem, we see the seeds, we see the blossom. To make your applesauce, you're going to cut up the apple into small pieces. These pieces don't have to be all the same size. If you like applesauce that's very smooth, you might want to cut them into smaller pieces. If you like applesauce that's kind of chunky, you can leave some bigger pieces in there. Then you're going to, in a microwave safe container, put the apple pieces and cover it halfway with water. Then you'll microwave it 1 minute at a time, stirring it a little bit each time. This might take a little while. You might decide to add some cinnamon or nutmeg or honey, and that's an incredible way to make it your own. Delicious. Oh my gosh, and look at the seeds inside of this delicata squash, another great example of something that is growing, 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 just like we are every day. Fantastic. Well, friends, that's the end of applesauce making. If you want to create some variations, you could include some banana. You could include a little bit of lemon juice. You could even include some chunks of this squash and see how it turns out. Amazing. With your apple scraps, it's very important to remember that this is a part of the food chain as well. We don't want to put this in the trash. We want to make sure this goes into the compost. The reason for that is because if this goes into the trash and then goes to the dump, in a pile all together, it produces methane gas as it breaks down. And methane gas is very damaging to the ozone layer. So if you want to make sure that from the very beginning to the very end of your applesauce making, your cooking process is incorporating the whole food chain, you want to make sure to have gratitude for the plant, gratitude for the people who grew it, and gratitude for the planet by cleaning up well. The reason we put this in the compost is because when it goes to the composting facility, it will be introduced to the right amount of moisture and the right amount of heat to help it break down and to actually become a material that can go into growing these plants again. So that's what it looks like to practice noticing that nature is everywhere, even from within your own home, and we can practice participating in that system in ways that are beneficial for us all. I hope you enjoy your applesauce, and I hope you enjoyed this activity. Again, my name is Reesha. You can join us for more classes by visiting us at www.ymcasf.org. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again soon.
Did you know that YMCA of San Francisco never closed? When shelter-in-place happened, we could no longer provide in-person programming. We quickly shifted to provide youth and family programming virtually. As early as April, we started providing on-demand activities in our YMCA of San Francisco YouTube channel.
For this video, we're going to be making a geodesic dome.
Today, we're going to be making a hovercraft. The science around this activity is really awesome.
In addition, we have a regular schedule of activities for our youth and families to join live. We feature read-alouds, yoga, family Zumba, arts and crafts, drawing clubs, and more. So don't miss out on our virtual youth and family offerings. Visit www.ymcasf.org for more info and class schedules.